the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's just be honest here. An embarrassing loss against the Titans. We talked about it last week as if they should be resting Joe Burrow for this game because the Titans are not that good. And they played Joe Burrow, and they get beat by 24. They couldn't even score a touchdown. They couldn't really move the ball. An embarrassing result, let's just be honest here. So I'll pass it off to you. What is your initial reaction and thoughts to the Bengals losing by 24 to the Titans?
Why is Joe Burrow playing? I just don't get it. Like, I'm not sure it's as much as forcing, because I think Joe Burrow is just cut from that cloth that he doesn't matter. He wants to play, but you just have to, if you're anybody in the front office that gives a shit about this guy, you have to keep him off because he's not getting any healthier. He looks completely immobile. He looks frail in the pocket. And Joe Burrow does not look confident in the pocket. He's a fucking pocket passer. If he does not look confident in the pocket, you're not going to be a good football team. Like, I don't understand why they're acting like, oh yeah, we're just going to play Joe Burrow into health. That doesn't happen. That's not possible. And it's starting to affect everything. I mean, the offense has looked, from night and day from last season, because last season they started out 2-0, but no one questioned their offense because their offense was always, they have too many weapons on offense. You'd be worried about that. But now the problem is their offense. They're not able to score. I mean, it's a team. Have they even scored a touchdown in the first half yet? Like, I literally don't know. And you have weapons like Jamar Chase. You have these guys. And I mean, it's starting to get frustrating even a little bit for Jamar Chase. I mean, he's saying, I'm always fucking open. And Joe Burrow's not able to get him just because he's not 100% football fit. He's just not. And I mean, for Christ's sake, they couldn't even do nothing with Derrick Henry, though. To be honest, Derrick Henry was just basically a little brother this Bengals defense. He used to say, y'all got to get out of my fucking way here. I mean, he just completely dominated them, and the Bengals had no answer. So I mostly leave this game saying, what do you gain from playing Joe Burrow right now when you know that he's nowhere near 100% fit, that he's not healthy, that even who does it take to watch these games to say, Joe Burrow, this isn't going to work right now because we need him to get fit. I don't know if they're just hoping, we'll just play him and then by the bye week that'll be enough. That's not enough because you're going to start running into very elite teams. I mean, this is the Titans, man. I mean, this is not, the old school Titans that were bossing Brady around over there with the Patriots. This is a completely different. This is a Titans team that no one expects anything from, but they're able to do this to the Bengals, and that I just don't know. I mean, a lot of questions have been asked, and like, do you hit the panic button, or should the Bengals be panicking now? And it's still early, but you could definitely feel the pressure that something has to happen. Something has to happen, and unless they secretly do some Karate Kid shit to fucking heal Joe Burrow, that's not going to change. So I think the only thing that they can do is just try playing your backup. Hopefully, like I said, this offense is just you have too many weapons for any backup not to make this work. At least for the small time being, you're not playing elite level teams, just for enough to give Joe Burrow some time to rest up, get more mobile, get a little bit more confident that he can take a hit without completely shattering like glass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, I wholeheartedly agree with pretty much everything that you just said. Joe Burrow should not be out there. I said it last week. I think you also said it last week. And we said if you were going to have a point in the season where you rest Joe Burrow for a couple of weeks, try to get him back to at least 80% health, because right now he looks like he's 40, 50% at best. I mean, he looks immobile in the pocket, uncomfortable. He can't play like he wants to play. Obviously, a lot of people are making jokes saying, he got his money and now he's playing bad.
Now he's playing bad. Yeah.
But the reality is he is quite literally, it's obvious that he's hurt because Joe Burrow, he is way too good to be playing like this. I mean, you can just see he's not his usual self. I mean, he's basically, look, Joe Burrow, he's a guy where, look, he's not always going to beat you with his legs, but every now and then when, they're a crucial third down, he will get it on his leg. We saw it time and time again, especially, in those playoff runs, last season, the season before when they made the Super Bowl. This season, he's not rushing the ball at all. I mean, he got 1 yard, you know what I mean? He's unable to move. That obviously takes away a huge, facet of his game where he can't move at all. He can't even, move out, throw it on the run. He has to just be in the pocket. And I mean, it just is quite literally, yes, he's very good in the pocket normally, but this is just, he's unable to do the things that he needs to do. And it's just one of those things where you look at the Bengals schedule coming up. They played the Titans this week. Next week, obviously, they play the Cardinals. So I was saying, if you're going to have a point in the season where you rest Joe Burrow for a couple weeks, this is the time. You played the Titans, you played the Cardinals. Those are not that good a team. Then you play the Seahawks. You have a little bit of a window there where you're playing some decent teams, and then you play the Cardinals, who you think are going to be, not that great. That's just your time. You put Joe Burrow on the bench, say, take these 3 weeks off, get to as healthy as you can be, and then let's go and make a playoff push. Hopefully we pick up a game with our backup. Maybe we're going to be sitting at 2 wins or whatever. We can run the table with a healthy Joe Burrow. The Bengals team has done it before. They're capable of doing that. But now, you're getting a lot of pressure. You're sitting at 1-3. I still think next week and the week after that they should be resting Joe Burrow. Because if they play him this week and they somehow lose to the Cardinals, you're sitting 1-4. You play the Seahawks. You're going to be sitting 1-4. The pressure is going to be mounting. And let's just say you pick up a win and you're sitting at 2-4. Then you play the 49ers, the Bills, the Texans, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Jags, the Colts, the Vikings, the Steelers again, the Chiefs, and then the Browns to finish off the season. Those are all relatively hard games. I mean, yes, before the season, you would have thought the Texans would have been an easy game. But the way C.J. Stroud is playing, the Texans look like a decent enough team. Where the way this Bengals team is playing, I think I'd pick the Texans right now. And you're playing teams like the Bills, the Steelers, who have a good defense. You're playing the Browns, who have an elite defense, just like the Steelers do. The Chiefs, we know how good they are. Like, this Bengals team has a very tough schedule. There's no time to rest Joe Burrow in the rest of the schedule. This is when the rest of these games are when the season is getting to crunch time, where you need to be, hitting stride. You need to be picking up wins to even make the playoffs, because the way this Bengals team is playing right now, and with Joe Burrow's health, this team is not making the playoffs. This is this team is quite literally, they might finish last in this division. I mean, they might finish last in this division if Joe Burrow is 50% or less for the rest of the season, because this team is just not good. They can't move the football. They're putting all the pressure on their defense. And like we've talked about, they don't have an elite defense. They cannot be just carried by their defense. They're not quite like the Steelers, where if their quarterback play isn't that great, the defense can pick up the slack. This Bengals team, they are an explosive offense normally, and they just have a subpar defense who gets the job done when they need to make a play.
When they need a play, they tend to make big plays.
But Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon, those are the explosive guys. They score points. They are explosive offense normally. And it looks like the exact opposite. So that's why this Bengals team obviously looks like, or I mean, let's just be honest, this Bengals team right now looks like one of the worst teams. They look like one of the worst teams in the league. And it's just crazy. I know it's crazy to say that, but it's quite literally just comes down to Joe Burrow's health. And like I said, you should have rested him this week against the Titans. You lost anyway. So, I mean, you were going to lose anyway. So you might as well just rest him. Anyway. In my opinion, they should rest him for the next 2 weeks, even if you sit at 1-5. If you're 1-5, let's just say you lose the next 2 games, and then you go into that gauntlet schedule where you're playing the Bills, 49ers, whatever, but you have a healthy Joe Burrow, this Bengals team can run the table. They can, come out of that gauntlet schedule and come out of the, potentially have a chance to be a wild card team. I firmly believe the Bengals team with a healthy Joe Burrow, they can run the table, pick up wins, against some tough teams and make the playoffs. But they can only do that with the healthy Joe Burrow. And the only chance they have to get him healthy is now.
It's by not playing. Yeah, by sitting
him out. He has to not play. And then, you got to there comes a point in the season where, right now we know this Bengals team I don't think they'll beat the Cardinals with Joe Burrow the way he's playing right now. I don't think they'll beat the Seahawks. So you're going to be 1-5 anyway. So rest them and then, get him back in after a couple weeks, see where he's at. He's probably going to be 75%, maybe 80%. That Joe Burrow can potentially, send you, and maybe you finish the season 10-7. You finish the season 10-7, you run it, you get on a hot streak. You can be in the wild card, and this Bengals team in a wild card position that we know what they can do. They could still make a run. And all they gotta do is make it.
Yeah, you just gotta get to the dance. But another thing is, especially against the Titans, Joe Burrow was getting demolished. I mean, this guy was still getting got it because his offensive line is still horrible.
Yeah, it's never been good.
It's never been good. This is the same thing. It's like, there's 3 guarantees in life. Death, taxes, and Joe Burrow's offensive line being shit. So that's just a mixture of horrible things, because not even like, at least you're protecting your quarterback. He's not getting hit. You have a hurt Joe Burrow that's still being sacked because your offensive line can't fucking protect him. So.
And when you have a bad offensive line, you need to be able to escape the pocket and throw on the run, and he can't do that.
He can't do that. So it's like quite literally going after almost like a wounded animal. It's like you can't get out of the pocket. You can't rush right now because, like you said, Joe Burrow is someone who's like he'll fool you to think that he can't really run. He's not that fast, but when he gets moving, he's kind of quick. He can get a first
He'll
down.
get you a crucial first down. He's
He'll
done
he'll
it time
get
and
you a
time
first.
again.
Yeah, he's known to do that every now and then. But right now, he's not doing that because of his circumstances. So, for the best of both parties, this is you just sit him down. It's just, Joe, you got to sit down because you're not going to get any healthier playing these games, and we're not going to get any better with you out there playing. So I don't see a reason for them to keep playing him.
And also from the front office perspective, you have at a certain point you have to say we got to protect our investment. We just made this guy the highest paid player in the league. We got to protect our investment and say, you know what, we are forcing you to sit down for these next couple of games. We can't have you risk an even worse injury.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you pay you get that type of money. You're an investment. You know, they invested all that money into you at that point. At a certain point, you got to say, you know what, I'm making the final call here. I don't care how bad you want to play. You're gonna sit your ass on the bench.
Got to sit down, yeah. Come have a seat over
because
here,
when you're a competitive guy, you know, anyone in the NFL, but especially a guy like Joe Burrow, he wants to be out there. He wants to be fighting for the team. He thinks that even him at 50%,
even him at 50% will be enough.
Yeah, that's going to be enough to get them over the line and get wins. But you know, when you're in that mode, you know, it's hard to see it from a different perspective. That's when somebody like the coach, like the front office, like the owner, they got to say,
they got to protect them from themselves.
Protect them from themselves because a lot of these athletes, it's like that, and they end up making it worse. And then the last thing you want is this injury to linger. Maybe it even carries on in the next season. You just don't want that. It's one of those things you just gotta just take the rest, do what you got to do, heal up, and then come back. That's just what has to happen here. The season is not a wash yet. So I understand he feels like the pressure's on, but it's not. Like you can still sit out a couple weeks. Trust your backup. You pay your backup for a reason.
You pay your backup. He's getting paid money right now.
Right now, he's collecting a paycheck. The reason he gets that paycheck is literally for situations like this. It's his time to step up and look. All you gotta do is get one win. Can you beat the Cardinals? Can you beat the damn Cardinals? I think he can.
Yeah, you get paid some money. I mean, you should. You should.
So that is quite literally where I'm at with the Bengals right now. It's a bit weird because I say all this, we say all this, but I still think Joe Burrow's playing next week.
Yeah, no, we're saying this, but quite literally, we know Joe Burrow's going to play. So.
And then we're going to be coming back on here next week.
But they're having the same conversation.
The same thing. And to be honest, we're probably going to say it for the whole rest of the season.
And they're going to fucking miss the playoffs. But
if there's a silver lining for any Bengals fans, if you do miss the playoffs, you get a solid draft pick, you go again next season, If you're bad enough, you get Marvin Harrison Jr.
You get Marvin Harrison, bro. Fucking hell, how many more? No, they don't need Marvin Harrison Jr. They need the offensive line. Look, they get Marvin Harrison Jr. Trade that guy for a whole fucking new offensive line. That's all you need, for Christ's sake. Yeah, got him all the weapons in the world.